your service. Destroy! At your service. A worthy order. Destroy! Yes, Your Majesty. Ready for action. Moving. At your service. At your service. Yes, Your Majesty. Watch this! Yes, Your Majesty. A worthy order. Watch this! Ready for action. At your service. At your service. Ready for action. Moving. Yes, Your Majesty. None shall survive. Yes, Your Majesty. A worthy order. Watch this. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. At your service. None shall survive. Ready for action. Proceeding. At your service. Proceeding. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. Ready for action. Ready for action. At your service. At your service. Yes, Your Majesty. A worthy order. Ready for action. Ready for action. Moving. At your service. Proceed.
Ready for action.
Ready for action. A worthy order.
Orders?
At your service. Moving. Yes, Your Majesty. Proceeding.
Orders? Brilliant.
At your service. At your service. A worthy order. At your service. Proceeding. Ready for action. Destroy. At your service. At your service. At your service. None shall survive. At your service. At your service. At your service. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Moving. Ready for action. Moving. Ready for action. Watch this! Ready for action. At your service. Moving. At your service. Proceeding. Yes, Your Majesty.
Ready for action. For order! Yes, my lord.
Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. A worthy order. Ready for action. Ready for action. None shall survive!
Ready for action.
At your service!
For order!
Yes, Your Majesty! Destroy! At your service! A A worthy order. Destroy!
Orders?
Ready for action. Proceeding. Ready for action. Ready for action. At your service. At your service. Yes, Your Majesty. Ready for action. Your service. Ready for action. At your service. Moving. Yes, Your Majesty. At your service. A worthy order. Yes, Your Majesty. A worthy order. At your service. At your service. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Ready for action. Ready for action. A worthy order. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. At your service. Proceeding. Ready for action. Destroy. Ready for action. Ready for action. Ready for action. Proceeding. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, Your Majesty. Destroy. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Proceeding.
Orders?
Destroy. Yes, Your Majesty. Moving.
Ready for action.
Yes, Your Majesty. Watch this! Yes, Your Majesty. At your service. Yes, Your Majesty. None shall survive. Yes, Your Majesty. Ready for action. None shall survive. Ready for action. At your service. Proceeding. Ready for action. Proceeding. Ready for action. None shall survive. Ready for action. Moving. Yes, Your Majesty. Moving. Ready for action. Ready for action. Moving. At your service. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. Watch this! Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. Proceeding. Ready for action. Ready for action. None shall survive. At your service. A worthy order. Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. At your service. At your service. At your service. Watch this! Yes, Your Majesty. Watch this! Ready for action. Yes, Your Majesty. Proceeding. At your service.
Orders? Fire!
Yes, Your Majesty. Watch this! At your service! Yes, Your Majesty. Proceeding! At your service! Yes, Your Majesty. Destroy! At your service! Yes, Your Majesty. At your service! A worthy order! Ready for action! A worthy order! At your service! Yes, Your Majesty! At your service! Yes, Your Majesty! Moving! At your service! Yes, Your Majesty! Ready for action! Ready for action! Watch this! Ready for action! None shall survive! Ready for action! At your service! At your service! Proceed! None shall survive! Ready for action! Destroy! At your service! Destroy! At your service! Proceeding! Destroy!
Ready for action.
Yes, Your Majesty! Ready for action! Moving!